6:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Anjana Tudamgoda and read by Ramesh Perez. The headlines. The Presidency's duty of fortifying the economy will propel the nation forward. Strict security measures in place for May Day rallies. The government expects to ban corporal punishment. Inter-Lanka passenger ferry service to resume on the 13th of May. The daily wage for plantation workers increased. The cement prices reduced. In foreign news, a China highway collapse killing 24 people. In sports, it's rugby. Sri Lanka crushes India 45-10 to enter the final. Now the local news in detail. On the 138th observance of World Labour Day, born from a historic struggle for rights, our nation stands at a pivotal moment. Regardless of political affiliations, it falls upon each of us to shoulder the unshakable duty of fortifying our economy and propelling our nation onwards, President Ranil Wickremesinghe said in his May Day message. The President stated that during the recent economic downturn, the working class bore the brunt of the hardship and extended heartfelt appreciation to all who laboured diligently, driving the engine of the economy forward amidst adversity. President Wickremesinghe further stated that the fruits of our collective dedication are evident today. Sri Lanka's economy is on an upward trajectory, underscored by significant achievements in curbing inflation and stabilizing the currency, credited to government's efforts. He reminded the nation not to forget the government's commitment to uplift the working class from poverty and secure their rights, and added that initiatives like our Swasama and Urumaya programs stand as pillars of this endeavour, particularly benefiting plantation workers. Police have deployed nearly 10,000 officers, including special task force personnel and intelligence officers across the country for security and traffic management during today's May Day rallies and parades. Police spokesman DIG Sinhala said that Triforce's personnel are also on standby at police stations if needed. May Day rallies are planned in 35 police areas across the country, with at least 14 scheduled in Colombo alone. DIG Sinhala further said that nearly 5,000 police officers are deployed solely for security and traffic management in Colombo. Furthermore, the police spokesman said, with a focus on enhancing security measures, only permitted drones cameras will be allowed for use during the rallies. The Controller General of Immigration and Emigration, ISHJ Ilukpitiya, said the passenger ferry service between India's Nagapattinam and Kankasanthurei in Jaffna is scheduled to resume on the 13th of May. Addressing the media, he said several attempts to resume the ferry service between the countries were cancelled due to unfavourable conditions of the sea. Rough seas had caused the cancellation of the service during earlier instances. However, the passenger ferry service finally commenced as the Cheripani passenger ferry arrived at the Kankasanthurei port on the 14th of October last year after a 40-year hiatus. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with more local news. A Gazette notification has been issued announcing the increase in the minimum daily wage of tea plantation workers to 1,700 rupees. The Commissioner General of Labour said the Gazette was issued by Labour Commissioner General H.K.K. Jayasundara following an order by the Labour Minister. It was also mentioned that public and state objections regarding the decision should be submitted before noon on the 15th of May. Meanwhile, President Ranil Wickremesinghe announced the increase in the daily wage for plantation workers whilst attending the Ceylon Workers' Congress May Day rally at the Kottagala Public Grounds this morning. As a result of the fuel price revision from last night, the cement manufacturing companies have decided to reduce the retail price of a 50-kilogram bag of cement. Accordingly, the price of a 50-kilogram bag of cement has been reduced by 50 rupees. Following the price revision, the new retail price of a 50-kilogram bag of cement will be 2,400 rupees. And that concludes local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Veda Mahatmya.
Moving on to the main news story. Taking to X, President Ranil Wickremesinghe announced that the Cabinet had approved amendments to the Penal Code and Criminal Procedure Code to prohibit corporal punishment. pointing out that UNCRC Article 19 urges protection against all forms of violence towards children. The President has said the Committee on the Rights of the Child, in General Comment number 8, stresses that corporal punishment must be prohibited in all settings. President Wickremesinghe has said that the cabinet approval paves the way for legal protections to ensure that no child in Sri Lanka suffers physical or mental violence. The President has said the decision to ban corporal punishment was taken in view of the International Day to End Corporal Punishment, which fell on yesterday. And that came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Moving on to Watch Night. Sri Lanka Police have announced that permission is required for the use of drones to capture pictures and videos on May Day rallies planned across the nation today to commemorate Labour Day. The police said it is prohibited from using drones to cover the proceedings of May Day rallies, processions and other related activities with prior permission. They further warned that legal action will be initiated against those using drones without permission. Several May Day rallies have been planned across Sri Lanka to commemorate Labour Day today. Moving on to the World News Bulletin, and first the headlines. A China highway collapse killing 24 people. Philippines' dangerous heat prompts shift to online classes, power crunch. Plastic-eating bacteria can help waste self-destruct. Now the world news in detail. 24 people have died after a section of a mountainside highway collapsed in China's Guangdong province following days of heavy rain. 30 others were taken to hospital after 17.9-meter stretch of the Milong Expressway crumbled at 2:10 local time today. Authorities have yet to state the cause of the incident. Images on state media showed a massive gash in the forested mountainside below the highway. State media initially reported that 19 people had died, but local authorities later said 24 people had been killed, with a number of injured persons still at 30. The Philippines has cancelled in-person public school classes for the next 2 days and said the power grid on its main island could be strained as the country grapples with a heat wave that is also affecting other parts of Southeast Asia. The State Weather Agency on Monday said temperatures in the capital region could reach 37 degrees Celsius in the next 3 days. Scientists have developed a self-digesting plastic, which they say could help reduce pollution. Polyurethane is used in everything from phone cases to trainers, but is tricky to recycle and mainly end up in landfill. However, researchers have come up with a sci-fi-like solution by incorporating spores of plastic-eating bacteria. They've developed a plastic that can self-destruct. The spores remain dormant during the useful lifetime of the plastic, but spring back to life and start to digest the product when exposed to nutrients in compost. Back to the headlines of the world news. A China highway collapses, killing 24 people. Philippines' dangerous heat prompts shifts to online classes, power crunch. And plastic-eating bacteria can help waste self-destruct. And that concludes World News.
Development News.
Moving on to development news. Sri Lanka Ports Authority said that Port of Colombo has seen container volumes rise 24 from a year earlier to 2 million 20-foot equivalent units in the first quarter of 2024. SLBC Chairman Keith Bernard said in a statement Colombo is serving the Middle East ports as shipping lines are rerouting vessels away from the Red Sea and Suez Canal. SLBC's own terminals had transshipped 582,403 20-foot containers, up 49.81% from a year earlier. And that was Development News.
Moving on with sports news.
Moving on to sports news, and it's rugby. Sri Lanka's rugby team showed its strength in a dominant 45-10 win over neighbouring rival India, securing their spot in the final against Kazakhstan at the Asian Division 1 rugby tournament. The match held at Colombo's Racecourse Stadium saw Sri Lanka take a commanding lead of 21-3 by half-time. Despite a drenched field and slippery ball, Sri Lanka managed to score 5 goals and 2 tries, whilst India only secured 1 goal and 1 penalty kick, totaling 10 points. The match started an hour late due to the conditions. And that was sports news.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Moving on to business news, cruise ship Serenade of the Seas made her maiden call at the Hambantota International Port on the 29th of April. The luxury liner, which carried a total of 1,950 passengers and 890 crew members, was the 10th cruise ship to call at the Hambantota Port for the year 2024. Serenade of the Seas, launched in 2003, is one of the Radiance class vessels built by the global shipping company Royal Caribbean International to travel to far-flung exotic destinations. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Moving on to economic news, Sri Lanka's overheated second-hand car market is set to cool rapidly, industry analysts said, with advertised brand new prices for vans being sharply below asking prices for used vehicles after import controls were partially relaxed for tourism. Toyota Lanka took out advertisements on Sunday to sell the new highest passenger van, which is permitted for use in the tourism sector, where the government would allow 750 vans to be imported. The move startled dealers who have been offering their used vans at astronomical prices. And that came to you in economic news.
Weather report.
And finally, moving on to the weather report, Meteorology Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the western Sabaragamuwa and central provinces and in the Galle and Matara districts during the night. Showers or thunder showers may occur at few places in the northwestern province and in the Manor district during the afternoon or at night. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the central, Sabaragamuwa and the Uva provinces during the morning. And that was the weather report. And now to conclude this news broadcast, a recap of the main news headlines. The Presidency's duty of fortifying the economy will propel the nation forward. Strict security measures in place for May Day rallies. The government expects to ban corporal punishment. Indo-Lanka passenger ferry service to resume on the 13th of May. The daily wage for plantation workers increased. The cement prices reduced. And in foreign news, a China highway collapse, killing 24 people. In sports, it's rugby. Sri Lanka crushes India 45-10 to enter the final. And with that, we wrap up this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.